You know what the biggest issue in AEW is right now?
Oh, I know what the biggest issue is, yeah.
Well, what I consider right now, right as we speak, you got one of the biggest names in professional wrestling, CM Punk, is your AEW World Champion. He gets an injury. So instead of stripping him of the belt, you decide to create an interim champion with the thought that when Punk is ready to go, that they will reunite those titles. That's a surefire story in any kind of combat sport. Can't miss an angle. And they've missed it. Because to do that properly, once Tony had made that decision to create an interim champion and not to strip Punk, then obviously, not only any genius, but anybody that just knows anything would have said, okay, the interim champion needs to be the strongest heel I've got with a big mouth. Because that interim champion needs to win that interim title, and he needs to crow about it. And he needs to get some wins every week against the majority of my roster. We got to keep him strong. He's claiming to be the real champion. He's beaten more people in the past 6 weeks than Punk defended against entirely. And he's crowing. And meanwhile, all you have to do is show the original champion at his doctor's office, speaking to the doctor, doing physical therapy, doing training, getting comments. Is he behind or ahead of his recovery? You know what? We're going to ask a question. Is he going to be ready? He might have to relinquish. Maybe he'll never be the same again. Is Tony Khan now debating the thought of stripping CM Punk of that championship if he doesn't get back quick and making the interim champion the real champion? And that whole time, that heel is out there calling Punk a coward. And finally, he says something heinous or does something heinous and personal. Maybe he insults AJ Lee's book. I don't know. And that's when Punk makes a surprise return and attacks the fucking guy that has caused him problems and has been creating this reign of terror. And they have a big pull apart. And Punk demands to come back and face this guy, but he's not medically cleared. Well, God damn it. We'll have a non-sanctioned match. He doesn't have to be medically cleared. After the regular card is over, lights out, Punk versus whoever. For all the marbles, the winner will be the undisputed AEW champion, and the returning conquering hero will slay a dragon, right a wrong, regain his property in the main event of a pay-per-view. Oh, I don't know, maybe like in his hometown of Chicago. There's one coming up. If he ain't ready there, make it the pay-per-view in November or whenever. But what have they done? They not only didn't put the fucking interim title on a heel so that there would be a dragon for the conquering hero to return and slay, but they put it on a fucking garbage wrestler with an indie mindset who can't stay away from doing these garbage death matches on these outlaw mud show promotions. So there's a very good chance before they ever get to reunite the fucking title, Plumber Moxley will get injured by some fucking bank-addicted drug robber on one of these fucking underground human cockfighting shows. Or
he's a babyface. That's the other problem.
Well, or if he makes it, then he's a babyface, allegedly. And some of those people actually like that kind of thing. For a fucking balding, physically unimpressive, lack of athletic ability fucking goofball with some kind of brain damage that he likes garbage wrestling, he'll be the champion. But so you're splitting the audience. Who are they going to cheer for? Who's in the right? Who's being taken advantage of? The fucking whole presentation is completely off and has been. That's just one example. That's where you're drawing your money in the company. That's not, oh golly, Daniel Garcia had a wonderful match against QT on Rampage. This is millions of dollars. This is pay-per-view buys. This is tickets in NBA arenas. That's what's wrapped up with Punk and the AEW title. And he's botched this too. People should be already clamoring for Punk to return and kick the shit out of somebody that's impersonating him and claiming to be the champion when they're not really. Have you heard anybody say that?
No.
Every time that the fans get somebody hot, Tony Khan, either his natural instincts send him on a left turn every time, or the people in his company that are not professional enough to care about his business and instead just care about their reputation, give him bad advice. Bryan Danielson's becoming the best single heel in wrestling. Let's put him in a group with the fucking plumber and a rookie and hide him and never let him speak. MJF, the most talked about wrestler in the world, before he did the pipe bomb promo, fire me, you fucking mark. Let's make sure he gets beat by Jericho and fucking sidelined and minimized by everybody until finally he and Punk make magic, sell tickets, sell pay-per-view, and draw ratings. What about FTR? The fans are cheering them as the greatest tag team in wrestling. Well, the fucking dickless EVPs can't have any of that, so let's change the plans. Let's not put them over in the rubber match. Let's not put all the belts on them. Let us go back and play with our friends and let FTR sit at home and joust with Dave Meltzer on Twitter.
Yeah, they haven't even been on TV the last couple of weeks. They had all that positive momentum coming out of that Briscoes match. They did the post-match scrum we talked about. Have they been on TV since?
Wardlow. They were standing throwing babies in the air for Wardlow to get his hands on MJF and just for Wardlow in general. MJF's gone. Wardlow has been sued by a phony attorney, had a match with 20 fake security guards, and went 10 minutes with the company mascot on television after demolishing everybody in his path like a wrecking ball. And then he was playing last week with the Puddin' Gang. We can make note of all of those names and many more that at various points in time, the fans in the arenas and on television and out on the internet have been raving about wrestlers that were then minimized or disappeared by Tony Khan, apparently on the advice of people who were jealous of the wrestlers in question getting over in what they considered their spots. How else do you explain it?
Hey, listen, the one that I want to focus on for a second here, I agree with everything you said. If you notice, the TV has fallen off a cliff in terms of how much good stuff is actually on the show since Punk and everyone, several of the people you just mentioned haven't been on the show. But Danielson came in, he had been misused by WWE and was instantly forgotten. The AEW fans were happy to have him there. He had a great match with Omega. He had a great match. He had the match with Adam Page. I mean, he did some great stuff. And then he got over as a heel. I could still visualize him on the mic in the ring yelling at the fans that he's going to kick their favorite wrestler's head in. Explain any of the booking of him since then to me. He doesn't mean as much today as he meant then. Now, good booking can repair things. We'll see if that happens.
Not forever. Not forever. You can damage something beyond repair if you fuck with it long enough.
But since that time, they made him a babyface. They put him in a group. They took away his mic time. He got a concussion, losing to Jericho in a garbage match, arena match. And then they brought him back and he tapped out to Daniel Garcia. Explain in any way how any of the booking of Bryan Danielson, even if it's what he wants to do, a good booker has to be able to tell a wrestler, no, this doesn't work for us. Even if it's what Bryan Danielson wants to do, tell me how any of that booking since Moxley came back has made any sense.
Point is, Tony, congratulations. Wait a minute. Kudos to your promotions there. Now, actually put people in charge of the shit they need to be in charge of, that it would help the company instead of just not hurt anybody's feelings because now somebody's talking to them. I'd rather have somebody completely ignore me than tell me they wanted me to do some bullshit that I know is shit Just ignore my ass. I'll be over here in the corner hiding from you so everybody else can get some on them, and I'll stay clean over here.
All right.
I'll tell you, Brian, sometimes it just makes me want to just take a cross-country trip. Just get in my car and just drive.
Really? I'm surprised to hear that.
Just drive away from humans, away from wrestling, away from the hustle and bustle of life, and just get in my car and just drive down the road. Maybe go out Route 66, something like that. Get my kicks on Route 66. The problem I'd have?
No.
As soon as I'd get in the car, I'd drive 60 miles down the road and I'd blow a thermostat or something like that. And I'd have to fix my car. But fortunately, folks, we know where you go in order to fix your car, no matter what's wrong with it. Our friends at RockAuto.com. Now, just say, for example, a guy walked in. Actually, he didn't walk in the other day because they don't have a brick and mortar store. We've mentioned this. They're out in the South Seas on an island.
No, they're not.
It's glass and plastic.
That's not true.
Well, you can't fix a car with brick and mortars. We've mentioned that. The mortar clogs up the fuel lines. But also, this guy, he didn't walk in, like I said, because they're not brick and mortar, but he went to the website, rockauto.com, and he had a common problem, something that people have all the time. You know your crankcase for the oil, right? The crankcase in his car had peanut oil in it. But fortunately, rockauto.com carries popcorn and chicken fingers.
Oh, come on.
So it all worked out in the end.
No, they don't.
Well, I thought they had everything your car or truck would ever need.
I don't believe your car or truck needs popcorn or chicken fingers.
I have eaten chicken fingers in my car on hundreds of occasions.
You need the chicken fingers. Your car doesn't need the chicken fingers.
Well, the car needs them if I'm going to eat them in the car. If folks, regardless of what you want to eat in your car, rockauto.com, if they don't carry the food, they'll at least carry some implements you can set it on fire with. There's a lot of things at rockauto.com that are flammable. And whether you can set them on fire or they just catch on fire naturally, sometimes they explode just right out. But they've got all kinds of stuff. If you want to find some shit that you can blow the shit out of stuff with.
See, this is the problem. I took a bite of something and I couldn't interrupt you to stop you as you started building up whatever it is you're doing here.
Am I lying? There's a lot of things that are explosive or flammable on the rockauto.com website.
Well, technically, you're probably correct, but that's not the way to look at these fine auto parts at the fine prices that they are sold at to the fine people over at rockauto.com. Correct?
I don't know. I lost the way you phrased that, so I don't know whether to answer it yes or no. But I'll tell you what, folks, whether it's engine control modules, brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, sticks of dynamite, hand grenades, or just flammable liquids of every kind and type. They've got thin flammable liquid. They have thick, viscous flammable liquid. They got stuff you can set fire to and it'll turn all kinds of colors.
When Jim talks about setting fire, he's talking about starting your engine, igniting the engine, and of course the fuse that will propel your car. Nothing nefarious, nothing scary, nothing to be afraid of. The usual combustion that propels you along your day.
Yes, it's an internal combustion engine. So every time that you start the engine, something technically does blow up. It explodes and that ignites the whole thing. So the trick is to try to keep the explosion beneath the hood of your car or truck instead of having it come and break the boundaries of that, and then fireballs begin leaping up in the air. And then, but rockauto.com does carry fire extinguishers and foaming type of apparatuses and things, blankets that you can throw over a fire. So, folks, when you get the part for your car or truck from rockauto.com, also remember to get some fire retardant clothing and some foam and a fire extinguisher just in case. So when you combust all these elements, you got to think about safety. But anyway, they've got an amazing selection reliably low prices, all the parts your car or truck will ever need. And you can go to rockauto.com right now and write JCE in their How Did You Hear About Us box. And that way they'll know that we're the ones that have been talking about all of the explosive items that you can buy from rockauto.com. The catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate.
Yes, it is.
So again, whatever you need, don't pay the prices of the chain stores and the brick and mortar shops. If you want to blow up your car or truck or set something on fire.
No, that's not what we're going to say, and that's not how we're going to sell this. Of course, if you want to help your car, fix up your car, repair your car, or maybe get a car part for someone you love, this is a wonderful service to use.
Or if you want to put someone that you used to love but you don't anymore into one of these cars and stick a wrong part in it where when they start it up, well, you never know what could happen.
Why do you always look on the, not on the bright side of things, what would you say, on the wrong side
of things? On the shady side.
On the shady side. Let's be positive. Rock Auto is going to rock everyone's world with their auto parts.
Boy, expeditions blow up sky high. That'll rock your world. But I'll tell you.
My God.
One way or another, these people are going to fix up your car. And that's just the last word on that. RockAuto.com. JCE in the How Did You Hear About Us box while you still have the chance before they hear this spot.
All right.